Snapchatting this real quick. It's hilarious. It's clear. I want to get enough traction on it, though, so I'm just going to put it on my Instagram story. Just a hot little second. Yeah, I got to tweet it out. I got to tweet it out here. Gotta tweet it out. I'll pin it later. Don't worry. It's fine. We're good. But you know what? Real quick, I just want to write out. I'm going to write it out onto a note, and I am going to put it in the beak of a pigeon. Got a really great connection with the local wildlife community. I'm going to put this in the beak of a pigeon, and he's going to get it out all over the place. It's a new local social network. It's far more effective than tweeting, if you'd believe it. And you know what? I just want to be omnipresent. I want to be everywhere at once. Oh, crap. I better call my grandma, tell her I'm live. She can tell the local people. You know what? I'll tell her she can catch the replay, right? She can catch the replay. Hey! It's RK. Hey! There she is. And it's another episode of Awkward Marketing. How you doing today? Gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't normally do all my social media-ness right before I get on here, but you know, today I'm talking about my secret to being omnipresent on every social media network without breaking the bank because you're a small business. And so I thought I'd, walk my talk a little bit, people. I thought I'd model it for you. Last week we talked, on episode 25, we talked about visibility, how to get visibility in your business and all those great steps. And so it only makes sense that now we're going to talk about visibility on every platform under the sun, right? Because isn't that the goal? Isn't it? Oh man, did I clickbait you guys? Did I trap ya? Did I get ya? Oh my goodness. It's another wonderful episode of Awkward Marketing. Today we're talking about being omnipresent on social media, how to be present across all of the different platforms without breaking the bank. So many people come to me breathlessly and they're just like, okay, I need to do all the things, but I only have this much time. It's rough, isn't it, right? I mean, until they put 28 hours in a day, we're going to be struggling, folks. We're going to be struggling, people. But here's the thing. That's why I wanted to do today's broadcast. I wanted to talk about my secret to being omnipresent on all social media networks. And I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I'm just going to get to it here, folks. I'm just going to tell you. Guess what my secret is? My secret to being all present, all the time, all the networks, all over the place, baby, is don't do it. It's not going to work. You're going to spread yourself too thin. You're going to spend all of your marketing budget and you ain't going to get a return on investment. Boom, spoiled it. Spoiler alert, you can't do it. I've got an alternative for you though. I've got a way to build up your presence across social media without trying to be all places at all times for all people and still doing it efficiently, effectively, reaching your target market, and over time, being able to be present on more networks. Boom! How you like that? Sounds pretty good, as if I say so myself. So here's the thing. As I said, on last week's episode of Awkward Marketing, I talked all about visibility, why it's important, and how to get visible in your business. And really, most importantly, what I talked about in last week's episode is where to be visible in your business. So you're going to want to go back and check out that episode and check out the audit that I recommend for figuring out where are your best clients ever spending time and where do you want to get visible. And you might find out, you might discover, oh man, my best clients ever, they're on Facebook. And you know what? A small percentage of them are on Twitter. And you know what? A bunch of them are on Instagram. And they're on Pinterest. And they're on LinkedIn. And they're on Snapchat. And you're hyperventilating before you even get started, okay? And the answer is not to try to be in all of those places at once. You're going to do, but what? Doesn't mean you can't eventually grow to that. So I've got a few steps for you for how you can market on social media effectively without feeling the pressure to do all the things. So the first thing that you're going to do is you are going to do that audit that I walked you through last week, the visibility audit. You're going to choose your best client ever. And remember, this best client ever is not a hypothesis. It's not a theory. It's not, it's not a fictional character that you come up with for the purpose of some ideal client avatar exercise. Okay? Your best client ever is a real person. It is an example of literally the best client you've ever worked with, or a small handful of them, and you're going to study them, and you're going to study their characteristics, you're going to study where they spend time online, you're going to study where they originally found you, you're going to study how they ended up making the decision to work with you, all of that stuff, and I go into it in depth in last week's episode. You're going to study all of that, and then you're going to get clear on the core places where they are spending their time, and that's where you're going to start. But you're not going to start in a bunch of places at once. You're not going to start on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and Snapchat and Pinterest. You're not going to start in all those places. You are going to choose one. And how you choose this network isn't just about where your ideal client is, isn't just about where that best client ever is hanging out. It's also about where do you like to spend time online? Where do you like to hang out? Because yes, I'm talking to you small business owners. I'm talking to you thought leaders and visionary entrepreneurs who you are got your hands deep into the dirt of doing your own marketing. You're not at the place where you can delegate it all away, nor would you want to delegate it all away. You're at the place where you are doing this self-promotion. You are in the thick of it. Okay? So it's not only important to go where your people are spending time. Yes, you want to do that, but you also want to make it, let's just say, your people hang out on Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram. But for the love of, for the love of all that is Pinterest dependable, you just can't figure Pinterest out. You don't like it. It feels overwhelming to you. When you go there, it stresses you out. You feel like there's too much going on. You don't know where to focus. So we're not going to want to start with Pinterest because we already know that you don't love it, right? So you got Facebook and Instagram still. All right. So, your kids do Instagram and it's cool and all. You love sharing photos of your grandbabies on there. You love sharing photos of what you had for lunch maybe, but still you're struggling to really see the point of it. Right? And when you do go on Instagram, maybe it's a couple times a month. You scroll through your feed a couple minutes every week and it just doesn't come natural to you. But Facebook, damn it, you're on there every damn day. Whether you like it or not, it's like you can't help yourself. You just find yourself on there like clicking on memes and chatting with your buddies and, engaging in groups and all that good stuff. So that is going to be the key to figuring out where you begin the social media journey and where you start to lay your foundation. You want to choose not only where your folks are hanging out, but where you like to spend time. Because in order to successfully master a social media platform and marketing there, you're going to have to like it. And if you don't like it, you're going to have to find a way to like it. You're going to have to find that one little part of it that you enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first step. You want to choose one social media network, and then the next step from there is you want to master it. And now here's the thing. This is the good news. You get to, number one, this is my permission slip for you, that you don't have to be on every single social media platform. So that's number one. Take a deep breath. You don't have to be everywhere at once. Doesn't that feel good? Isn't that a load off? I know it feels there's a lot of pressure. You look at the leaders in your industry. You look at the best of the best and you see that they are everywhere. You go to their websites and they've got every social media icon under the sun, even stuff you've never heard about, like a little tiny badger in a circle, like, hey, come to Badger Press. I know that feels overwhelming, but here's the thing about some of the most successful leaders in your industry. I can guarantee you that they started off the way that I am advising, which is they started off mastering one social media network and then layering another network on top of it. And then you layer and you layer and you layer. So here's some great examples. You look at Paul Zelizer, who is a leader in the wisdom and awarepreneur, conscious, spiritual business space. He's run several groups that have, been into the thousands. He's got a podcast. He is speaking all over the place, being interviewed all over the place, working with some of the highest level leaders in the spiritual and conscious business industries. But guess what? Guess where he started, and guess what? He doesn't focus on every single social media network. He isn't worried about being visible on Pinterest and LinkedIn and Instagram, and He's focused primarily his energies on Facebook. Facebook is what has built his following. Facebook is what has built his community. Facebook is what has one of the biggest platforms that has really helped him build his name. Now, he also, he's doing that offline as well, but Paul isn't freaking out about having a platform, everywhere else. He's really focused his energies on Facebook, and he makes an amazing living and amazing impact just doing social media marketing there. Now let's look at some other examples. We have Joi Show from Oh Joy, one of the most followed Pinterest accounts in the history of Pinterest. She's got like 13 million followers, okay? And that's where she began. Her initial goal, as she was building her empire, because she's a graphic designer, she's a home, an interior designer, she's got, product lines at a bunch of different stores, including Target. She's got it all, my friends. And Joi as well did not start trying to have a presence on every single social media network. Her principal focus when she got started was that she wanted to be one of the most influential accounts on Pinterest. And that's what she did. She focused her time, her energy, all of her work was all about mastering Pinterest. And once she did that, expanding her reach beyond Pinterest, beyond that. So that was amazing. That was magical. The third example that I would have for you would be Gary Vaynerchuk. Love him or hate him, he's built himself an empire now, hasn't he, right? And he started out back in the day when he was running the wine library business of his. He started out on YouTube. So now here's the thing with Gary Vee. He started out when Facebook and Pinterest and all of the social media networks were just little infants. They were in their infancy. But the point of the matter is that Gary Vee, again, is a wonderful example of someone that did not grow or build his business trying to be a master of all domains at once. He started on YouTube, he kicked butt on YouTube, he mastered YouTube, and then he layered and he expanded and he grew. And so that's what I'm telling you to do. First thing you want to do is you want to choose a social media network to start with, and then you want to master that. And this is my permission slip to you. You do not have to be all things to all people in all places. You want to master one primary network and platform. And how do you master something? Well, you start off with just playing with it, having fun, experimenting, seeing what works, getting into the groove. And then, once you figured out what works, what doesn't work for your audience, what's getting traction, what people are responding to, what they're not responding to, and that takes time, by the way. So this process that I discuss about layering, you're not just going to put one layer on, let's just say the Facebook layer, and then you're done, and now I'm going to put on Instagram on top of that. In order to create the Facebook layer, you're going to be building and building and building and building that layer. And it starts with playing and experimenting, seeing what lands, seeing what doesn't land. And then you're going to create systems for yourself, systems that you can replicate. So we're just like hinting on to the next little steppy step in the process that I'm laying out for you. So you're going to start with mastering one network, and you're going to create that foundational layer. And once you have not only mastered it yourself, but you have created a system for it that you can easily delegate, that's what you're going to do. You are going to delegate as much of the delegatable tasks within that platform that you can. Now, here's the thing about social media, especially if you are a thought leader, you're an influencer, and your platform is built on your connection with your audience, you're not going to be able to delegate everything. You're not going to be able to give it all away to someone else, because your strengths are how you personally deliver and communicate with your audience, deliver your message, and connect with them. However, after you have mastered a social media network, there are definitely going to be things that you can take off your plate. There are systems that you can put in place, and you can get some support with that. So that's what you want to do for your number 2 step. You want to delegate as much of that social media marketing goodness that you've established and you've mastered on platform number 1 as you can. Now I want to take a little pause here. Talk about delegation. Delegation is so hot, isn't it? Everyone's just like, delegate this, delegate that, delegate all day, delegate all night. Am I right? And delegating is amazing. If you're looking to scale and if you're looking to take the things off of your plate that are keeping you from doing your brilliance work, you're going to have to delegate eventually. You're going to have to do that stuff. But the problem I see is people get into building their online businesses and they want to delegate right away. I'm starting my business this year and you know what? I don't have time to figure out Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram, so I'm just going to hire someone to do it for me. Unless you got a huge lump of cash sitting on its side just for social media marketing, there's no possible way that you're going to be able to delegate away mastering these platforms and really reaching your clients. You can only delegate this after you've mastered it yourself, or if you've got enough of a nest egg or enough wealth set aside that you can pay someone who's already a pro to master it for you. But the truth of the matter is, when you're a small business owner on a budget and you're building from the ground up and every single dollar counts, you're not going to be able to afford a master of their craft. And so you're going to want to master it yourself and then delegate it. So master first and then delegate. And again, you want to only delegate what you have mastered. So then, once you've done that, you want to add that next layer onto it. And and so then you go to the next most strategic network. Dave is here and Lynn is here. So glad to see you guys. Dave says delegate anything that isn't your strength. So many automation tools out there for small business owners too. Dave, that is so smart and I totally agree. That said, when it comes to social media marketing specifically, I find that you can't, unless you've got funding, let's say, unless you've got capital, unless you got cash in the bank, earmarked, and I mean a lot of cash, earmarked for social media marketing specifically, I caution people against delegating that too soon. I've seen it so many times. A brand new business owner, they've got maybe a few $100s a month to invest in Facebook, for example. So they bring on a Facebook expert to build up their following, to build up their network. And this person is posting things all day long, posting memes, posting statuses, inspirational quotes, crickets. No one is responding. And the point is that it's really hard to delegate your core messaging. It's really hard to delegate communication and connection with your audience. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wary of saying delegate, even if social media marketing isn't your strength. I still challenge you to master at least one platform before you delegate it away, to find your hook, to find your way in, to find that connection with your audience. And if it just comes down to the fact that you simply have absolutely no social media charisma, then you're going to want to focus your marketing efforts somewhere else and build up your revenue until you can afford to bring on a master of their craft to do it for you. But what I find with small business owners who have got really small budgets and are trying to do it all on these small budgets is that they try to delegate away making that connection with their audience, and they're wasting money doing it. So as much as I agree with you, Dave, that you want to delegate away anything that isn't your strength, there are certain things that a small budget just won't buy you, and so then it's about being realistic with your goals, and that's a whole other Facebook Live, but I love that you brought it up because we're just making this thing juicy. And Lynn says budget. You're speaking my language, girl. I am speaking your language. I mean, this isn't my native tongue. Budgeting is not my natural way of being, and that's why we got Lynn Summerman on here. You got to check her out. She's the budgeting queen, and she's got all your tips for how to. It's not just building a business on a budget. She's really the queen of helping people master their life budgets. How do you save more money? How do you craft a budget that's going to help you reach your goals? So if you want more on the budgeting front, check out Lynn. She's the best. Love her. So yeah, I mean, really what it comes down to is it's a 3-step process. Master, delegate, layer on the next layer. Master, delegate, layer on the next layer. And remember, I put mastering before delegation. Now, there are certain things in marketing that you don't necessarily need to master first. Things like, for example, Facebook ads specifically. Facebook ads, it's a whole world unto itself, right? It's a whole underworld. Really hard for some people to master Facebook ads. So you might bring in an expert and delegate that part of the job. And that's part of mastering the network for you, is bringing in some people to help you figure out, okay, I've got my messaging on point, I'm connecting with people, but I want to reach more people. How do I do that using ads? Bring in an expert. So I'm not saying that you want to master every single thing under the sun, but I think that the core element of social media marketing really is making an authentic connection with your audience. And it's really hard to delegate that away. It's really hard to delegate that away, especially when you're a small business owner who's got a budget and has got, not all of the money in the world to spend. Now, if you have billions of bucks to be spending on this stuff, I'm not your gal. I am just not the girl for you. This is not your show. I'll see you later. But if you are a small business owner on a budget looking to master social media marketing, then this is going to work for you. Again, it all comes down to this. I'm not asking you to be in all places at once. I know I clickbaited you. I know I fooled you. I tricked you. I did you wrong. But the fact is, it's such a desire that I wanted to appeal to that need, not need because people think they have this need, but so often people come to me and they're like, okay, I'm starting a new business and I gotta have a Twitter and I've gotta have a Pinterest and I've gotta have an Instagram and I have to have a LinkedIn, and I'm like, screech! Do you like my card? Do you like my sound effects? This has been another awkward marketing moment brought to you by Rachael Inc. Yeah, so anytime somebody comes to me and they're like, I gotta be everywhere all the time, all at once, I'm like, stop the truck, And I tell them this, it's all about mastering one network at a time. Once you master that network, delegating away all the things that you can, boom, and then you want to layer on the next strategic network for you. And before you know it, within a few years, you will have a presence on all of the networks that matter for your business, but it's not something you want to start all at once. Instead of trying to spread your energy this way, you want to spread your energy this way and think about it like a layered cake. Layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. I mean, it's like, think about a 7-layer cake. It tastes so good. I don't want a cake that's thin and spreads out across miles. No, I want a thick, juicy, tall, a juicy cake. Ooh. Oh, well, anyway, I'm getting away from myself, but that's really what it comes down to, folks. It's been a blast. I love to see you guys at Awkward Marketing. If you want to see more of what I have to offer, head over to rkaink.com. I got some blogs for you there. I've got an awesome ebook for you there. Don't hire a web designer until you read this ebook. Check it out. Otherwise, I'll see you back here next week for another episode of Awkward Marketing. It's been real, folks.